The Cold War, a period that defined the second half of the 20th century, a time of global mistrust and tension where every move was scrutinized. It began after World War II as the world tried to rebuild from the ashes. Two superpowers emerged, the United States and the Soviet Union, each with their own vision for the future. They had very different ideologies, which would shape global politics for decades. The US championed capitalism and democracy, promoting free markets and individual freedoms. The Soviet Union promoted communism and a centrally controlled economy, emphasizing state control and collective ownership. This clash of ideologies fueled the Cold War, creating a world divided. It wasn't a direct war with traditional battles, but a war of influence and power. It was a war of influence, espionage, and proxy conflicts. The world watched nervously, unsure of what would happen next. The threat of nuclear war loomed large, casting a shadow over daily life. Both sides amassed huge arsenals, ready for a conflict that everyone hoped would never come. Fear and paranoia permeated every aspect of life, from politics to personal relationships. This fear fueled the espionage arms race, as both sides sought to outmaneuver each other. Both sides sought any advantage, whether through technological innovation or military might. This led to a shadowy world of spies, secrets, and betrayals, where trust was a rare commodity. Espionage became a crucial weapon in the Cold War, a period marked by intense rivalry and suspicion between the superpowers. It was a way to gain intelligence on the enemy, to understand their plans, and to anticipate their moves. Both sides developed sophisticated spy networks, employing thousands of agents across the globe. They aimed to infiltrate governments and steal secrets, often risking their lives in the process. The stakes were incredibly high, with the balance of global power hanging in the balance. Success could mean gaining a strategic advantage, potentially altering the course of history. Failure, on the other hand, could have catastrophic consequences, leading to political scandals or even war. Spies used various methods to gather information. They used code breaking, surveillance, and infiltration, constantly adapting to new technologies. They often lived double lives. They posed as diplomats, journalists, or even ordinary citizens, blending into their surroundings. Their true identities remained hidden, known only to a select few. Some spies were motivated by ideology, driven by a deep belief in their side's cause. They believed in their side's cause, willing to sacrifice everything for their beliefs. Others were driven by personal gain, lured by the promise of wealth and luxury, or were blackmailed into service, forced to betray their countries under threat of exposure or harm. The Cold War produced some of history's most famous spies, whose daring missions and covert operations have become the stuff of legend. One such figure was Kim Philby, a name synonymous with betrayal and intrigue. He was a British intelligence officer, deeply embedded within MI6, the United Kingdom's secret intelligence service. However, unbeknownst to his colleagues, he spied for the Soviet Union, feeding them critical information. Over the years, he passed on highly classified information, compromising numerous operations and agents. His actions had a major impact on the West, altering the course of intelligence operations and heightening Cold War tensions. Another notable spy was Virginia Hall, whose courage and resourcefulness made her a legend in espionage circles. She was an American who worked with the British resistance during World War II, playing a crucial role in the fight against the Axis powers. After the war, she later joined the CIA, continuing her work in intelligence and counter-espionage. She conducted numerous espionage and sabotage operations against the Nazis, often at great personal risk. These spies often undertook dangerous missions, venturing into enemy territory and gathering vital intelligence. Their work involved high risks, with the constant threat of exposure and capture looming over them. They faced the constant threat of capture or death, knowing that a single mistake could be fatal. They operated in a world of shadows and deception, where trust was scarce and danger was ever present. Their stories continue to fascinate us, offering a glimpse into the secretive and perilous world of espionage. Their actions had a real impact on the course of the Cold War, shaping the strategies and outcomes of this tense period in history. The Cold War was not confined to the borders of the US and Soviet Union. It spilled over into other countries. This led to proxy wars. These were conflicts fought by smaller nations. The superpowers supported different sides. These wars had devastating consequences. Millions of people died. One example of a proxy war was the Korean War. It lasted from 1950 to 1953. It resulted in the division of Korea. Another was the Vietnam War. The US supported South Vietnam. The Soviet Union supported North Vietnam. These wars had long-lasting impacts. They shaped the political landscape of their respective regions.